the citizen a right to bear arms on public property.
Somewhere I read of the freedom of assembly. Somewhere I read of the freedom of speech. Somewhere I read of the freedom of press. Somewhere I read that the greatness of America is the right to protest far right.
It said you overthrow a government if you've been a people who've been abused one generation over and over and over again. That for them was an affirmation of the revolutionary potential of those documents.
But I must say tonight that I know that justice is indivisible. Injustice anywhere.
It's happening right now. Everywhere is uprising.
There's a worldwide revolution going on.
Is a threat to justice everywhere.
Think about that.
You're all caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, tied in a single garment of destiny. And whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly. For some strange reason, I can never be what I ought to be until you are what you ought to be. The rich man can never be what he ought to be until the poor man is what he ought to be. John Donne caught it years ago and placed it in graphic terms. No man is an island entire of itself. Every man is a piece of the continent, a part of the main. And then he goes on toward the end to say, any man's death diminishes me because I am involved in mankind. Therefore never sin to know for whom the bell tolls. It tolls for thee.
He was looked on as somebody to hold at arm's length because his funk was dangerous.
I pray that God will bless you in everything that you do.
You told him I don't have nothing but a prayer. Well, chump, all I need is a prayer, because if that prayer reached the right man, mountains will fall.
I pray that you will grow intellectually, so that you can understand the problems of the world and where you fit into in that world picture.
I make my decisions on the basis of my moral commitment.
So when you stop and think about, you know, where it's going and where you fit in it, and the games they play.
When I was in about 6th or 7th grade, I couldn't wait till school to be over, because I knew over on the courts, the waiters from the hotel would be over there. They were black, older, and they let me play. You know, I always looked at that as I got an opportunity to play against a black man, and they treated me good. I couldn't wait to play against the best, and they were the best.
Of learning to live together, regardless of origins, in mutual respect for the rights and the well-being of all people.
What happens with this world as a whole is really a natural, almost a natural event. Events are happening, and it's not a matter of whether someone makes a decision in office to release information. This is all happening very naturally.
Yeah.
You know, it's not any decisions.
We don't need the government to release the information.
No,
that's
you don't need the government to release the information.
I'm very agree with you. I'm very agree.
No,
we don't have to ask for the government to do it.
And don't expect the government
Yeah.
to have any information
Yeah.
to release to you.
Yeah.
Because the governments, like I was talking about, the governments don't have this information to release. So, this information is already in the public domain. It's just coming. It's like the flowers growing out of the soil. You know, it's blooming everywhere.
We have internet, just put in action the people.
And also, you know, great inventions and things in the past have been discovered simultaneously in different places on the planet. How is this possible? It's because it's happening in a different dimension, from a different dimension. And this is how this information is released. It's not released through government.
Peace and blessings to all the brothers and sisters and to all the beings and extraterrestrial and anything else that's on our planet so-called Earth.
Living under this colonial imperialistic situation for a long time. See? We're irrespective of what's going on now and what government in power. government have to know that you have a whole lot of evil forces to fight who don't like to see nothing progressive, so learn that. And the devil is a dangerous guy. Saying
we have to face the fact that modern man suffers from a kind of poverty of the spirit, approaching spiritual death, which stands in glaring contrast to his scientific and technological abundance. We've learned to fly the air like birds. We've learned to swim the seas like fish. And yet we haven't learned to walk the earth as brothers and sisters.
So we can have flying saucers in a short period of time.
Yeah,
using it.
You can have that.
It's amazing.
The thing is that we need to balance this, all this technology that is available or can become public.
Yeah, I know it surprises a lot of people. That's all right. We're going to just keep surprising them.
Can you imagine that after all these humiliations and aggravations, I've been condemned to hell, and here am I still standing in the name of Jah?
Because we believe in the quest for truth and justice.
We need to first work on the spiritual and the sociological problem.
Indeed, now face the same problems of a swiftly changing world. The same question of how to bring our abundance and our technological progress to the fulfillment of all men and the liberation of all mankind.
The Japhet and get the wisdom of technology. See? I mean, no one can stop the development. The development is not the problem. It's the flesh, the man himself in his own flesh. It's in his own problem.
Well, I'm quite hopeful about the future pattern of race relations. I realize that there will be difficulties, and the reactionaries will make it more difficult in order to get to this goal. But I think there are other things at work which will defeat all barriers.
Held down by some spiritual vampires, and the only thing could make me move is say, move your bumbo clot and I'm free.
Bombaras. So can you imagine where I was at? I had was to have faith, both in myself and the Almighty, and ask Him to cool the tempest, so that I may be able to ride safely and accomplish my mission.
I admit that there were points and there were times that I moved around actually afraid within.
Oh yes, I prayed a prayer, and I prayed out loud that night. I said, Lord, I'm down here trying to do what's right. I think I'm right. I think the cause that we represent is right. But Lord, I must confess that I'm weak now, I'm faltering, I'm losing my courage. It seemed at that moment that I could hear an inner voice saying to me, Martin Luther, stand up for righteousness. Stand up for justice. Stand up for truth. And lo, I will be with you even until the end of the world. I tell you, I've seen the lightning flash. I've heard the thunder roll. I've felt sin breakers dashing, trying to conquer my soul. But I heard the voice of Jesus saying, still to fight on. He promised never to leave me, never to leave me alone. No, never alone. No, never alone. He promised never to leave me, never to leave me alone.
Talking about fear. Fear was only one of the way of trying to eliminate the lion from the society. the weapons that they tried to make him destroy himself with. There was many other ways and plots.
Living every day under the threat of death, I feel discouraged sometimes. Yes, sometimes I feel discouraged and feel my works in vain. But then the Holy Spirit revives my soul again. There is a balm in Gilead to make the wounded whole. There is a balm in Gilead to heal the sin-sick soul. God bless you.
And I pray that all the fear that has ever been in your heart will be taken out.
The truth is, I was born with fear. Lots of fear for the evil that exists around the 360 degrees. But there is something within me that was born inside of me that was called determination. And I know it has more power than fear.
And when you look at that man, if you know he's nothing but a coward, you won't fear him. If he wasn't a coward, he wouldn't gang up on you. He wouldn't need to sneak around here. This is how they function. They function in mobs. That's a coward.
The government was totally against the Rastaman's presence. The society had teach the people to hate, to ignore the Rastaman.
We had to watch the police. Watch for the police coming in and destroy us. Yeah, when he's a Rastaman, you get a lot of fight, you know, from all angles.
These things will inevitably undermine the folk ways of white supremacy.
A guy tell me that tomorrow I will be dead. He will be going in the coffin. Yeah, man, not me. See, because that is one of the secrets of life, to know how to live and how to counteract the negative forces of death. Many people search, but their search takes them to the grave. My search takes me to life. And there is no man on earth that can threaten me and create any amount of fear inside of me.
This is the important thing, is stop being afraid of everything.
Yeah.
Because that fear is, today what we need to focus on is the opposite of fear. It's to look forward and be happy about this baby that I spoke of that's being born, and celebrate the change and realize that there's pain involved in this change.
It's simply that we are moving to a new phase of the movement.
And these black factions and such, these dark operations, they are very weak. They're very weak and powerless.
Really?
Yes, they're very weak.
Because in these times, man will be invincible. Don't look at your television and think it's only television and Incredible Hulk and all these dangerous looking guys. These things going to be for real. Because what the devil's designing, man have to be invincible. Spiritually invincible to avoid these things.
I had come to feel at that time that in the struggle, God was with me, and through this deep religious experience, I was able to endure and face anything that came my way. Now, I think that still stands with me. After a long process of really giving my whole life to a religious way and to the will of God, I came to feel that as we struggle together, we have cosmic companionship.
We no need to be a few Christian martyrs, because there's lots of us, and don't be afraid, because they do look after you, whoever's up there, you know, if you get on with it.
Yes, man, I know it's a direct connection.
Especially if you realize, if you can understand that we're living in a galaxy full of worlds and people like you and me, basically, that have gone through the same experience as the people here on Earth, the same experience long ago, and this continuing thing, and they already know what's going to happen, but they're watching this change happen now, and they're supporting it and helping gently and quietly behind scenes. And if you are aware of that, then you don't have anything to be afraid of.
Peace on earth, that implies no violence, no starving children, no violent minds, no violent households, no frustration, no fear.
You know, you've got the brains and you can do it. You can make it, man. We can make it together. We can get it together. We can get it together.
And what did he do? He wrestled with the sense of gratitude, gratefulness, thankfulness for being, just being itself.
So that I'm quite optimistic about it. I think we live in one of the most momentous periods of human history. These are great days to be alive.
You know, you don't stand a chance. A, you're not going to be there when we're running it. And B, you're going to like it when you get less frightened of it, you know, and it's going to be wonderful, and I believe it. And of course we all get depressed and down about it.
The funk in life called the mess, the fears, the insecurities, the anxieties, the flaws, the defects of every human being.
But when I'm down, somebody else will be up there, always somebody carrying the flag and beating the drum, you know.
World soul and power. World soul and power is a symbol of man. See? That's what we use amongst Babylon. It doesn't use a stick, nor a stone, nor a gun. I don't tell you that our policy is non-violent, non-political.
How do you respond to it? That he comes out of a people and tradition and community that has been wrestling with the catastrophic and the scandalous and the monstrous and the traumatic for 400 years.
See, well, the time came was to see what was inside of me, and that's what I did. Because
what is the blues but catastrophe expressed lyrically? What is the jazz but wrestling with the scandalous and monstrous in such a way that you can still emerge with an elegance of earned self-togetherness, with a smile against the backdrop of the darkness of the underside of white supremacist America?
So they, whoever they are, don't stand a chance because they can't beat love, because all those old bits from religion and that about love being all-powerful is true, you know, and that's the bit they can't do, you know, they can't handle it.
And then when you leave with all the hassle, can you have that love?
We have another method that is much more powerful and much more effective than the weapon of violence.
Truth, peace, and love, and music, you know.
We must come to see. Another thing I want to say to you is that hate isn't our weapon either.
This is to warn that I am no longer held in check from fighting white supremacists.
And I'm not talking now about a weak love.
I don't believe in any kind of nonviolence. I believe that it's right to be nonviolent with people who are nonviolent. But when you're dealing with an enemy who doesn't know what nonviolence is, as far as I'm concerned, you're wasting your time. And I think that the people in this part of the world would do well to listen to Dr. Martin Luther King and give him what he's asking for and give it to him fast before some other factions come along and try to do it another way. What he's asking for is right. That's the ballot. And if he can't get it the way he's trying to get it, then it's going to be got one way or the other.
And that if causes harm to come to Dr. King or any other person who's doing nothing other than trying to enjoy their rights, then
the devil
and his friends would be met with maximum retaliation from those of us who are not handcuffed by this nonviolent philosophy.
I don't think when a man is being criminally treated that some criminal has the right to tell that man what tactics to use to get the criminal off his back. When a criminal starts misusing me, I am going to use whatever necessary to get that criminal off my back.
The one cause, if I should break it down to one, it would just be the opposition who is Satan, who is the devil, who stands in opposition of righteousness. To fight against the devil, well, the devil lives in all of you. And you have to get him out of you. He secretly slides himself in and makes you do things that you wonder how you did it. See? But then again, he's there, and he's there when you don't think he's there. And when you think he's there, he's not there. So you must find a way to monitor him at entering and to repel him. It's your works that repel the devil. Irie? For example, my brother, the devil, I know him. He's a dangerous guy. The devil can be a guy invisible, microbic, and he can be larger than space. See? And as I say, the devil trick any guy. Only one man the devil cannot trick is the almighty Rastafari. See? Because we were all brought low because of abomination. See? And that was caused from the same trick of the devil, Lucifer. See? And he continued to exist. Is we have to try to make our doings and our actions and our thinking become more positive. See? Not for one to only see or you to say that I am okay and I think I'm doing right. Let your actions be seen. Intentional. All you have to do, be yourself. Because the reason why many people get caught up in these things is because they want to be someone else. And as long as you want to be someone else and you don't have 2 feet to stand upon, then you will be led away by devils. Devils come in many different disguises, also in your friends. See? Because these are the things.
There's this little small clique that's controlling the masses of human beings on the planet, and there's a lot of them who deal with the Luciferian. They're into Satanism, and they want to control all the people on the planet Earth, black, brown, yellow, red, and white people.
And it's 2 ways before you, life and death, good and evil. Seen? So don't let no man tell you about your mouse dead. That is not in my Father's world. My Father created life. It's a very spiritual thing, man. If you touch it too long, it burn you, man. See, you have to keep inside clean. And to be clean is not to talk you clean. You have to live that bumbo clat. See? Yeah, man. See, but my gas mask is spiritual. And you have to put on your gas mask spiritual in this one. Because the devil is doing his work 24 hours a day. And there are 2 forces on the earth right now. It's Jah and Satan. And Satan is busy pulling on the other side, pulling in opposition every time. So what the devil is trying to do, because he know that Jah say he call upon the singers and the players of instruments. All his springs is in them. So because the devil knows that, the devil is a guy who loves music too. Don't think Satan is a fool. He loves good music. So his duty is to try to divert and distort the music, see, and to fragmentate the music to make it become like these little get down, shake your booty thing. You know, but that won't work because, as I say, everything have its time. See, and it's only the good thing can last forever. He comes to destroy instead of to build. And that's what's been going on, because Satan is a very jealous fellow. And he's very tricky and moving fast. He loves death and destruction and everything that goes in disorder. See? He has been here, he never changes. And until my Father come in this time with the earthquake and the lightning that is dissolvable for his frame, then he will always be here. But he's growing older every day, and his works is going on, so don't marvel. Seeing there is a time, as I said, for everything, and nothing can live longer than its time. Alright? His time is now. His time of dissolving or deteriorating or liquidating is now. But he will not be totally liquidated, just boof. He will gradually dissolve himself out, because a house that is divided against itself shall surely crumble. See, so it's just the general thing, but as I say, everything that is not the right thing is going to fade out of existence. See? Prophecy is fulfilling and everything is manifesting itself in due season. So marvel not. I have none to be scared of, my brother. The music is the music. See? And the real music will stand. The first shall be last and the last shall be first. Many are called but few are chosen. Irene. So let's not gimmick it out and play no games. The games is all over.
The young militants are in the revolutionary spirit.
It would be nonsense to urge oppressed people to love their oppressors in an affectionate sense. I'm not talking about that. Too many people confuse the meaning of love when they go to criticizing the love ethic.
And brothers and sisters, if you and I would just realize that once we learn to talk the language that they understand, they will then get the point. And then when they come up on our doorstep to talk, we can talk. And they will get the point.
If they want to win the revolution, they must win it with rasta. You can't win no other way, because if you win other way, you have to fight again. When you rasta win, there's no more war. Sure. That is the future. Rasta is the future. See? Yes. Rasta is the future.
I'm talking about a love that is so strong that it becomes a demanding love. I'm talking about a love that is so strong that it organizes itself into a mass movement and says somehow, I am my brother's keeper.
And they are concerned about revolutionizing certain values that have been existing in our society that need to be revolutionized.
Now you see, there's a war going on. Death is trying to take life, and life is stronger than death. But people believe that death is stronger than life, but we know that life is stronger than death. So life is the road, you know.
And he's so wrong that I'm willing to suffer and die if necessary to get him right.
White folks, black folks, Korean folks, Mexican folks, Puerto Ricans, we got to understand each other. We got to take a bigger chance. And when I say Americans, I mean you. I mean, you need to do something. You need to check yourself and see how racist you are.
Why me don't have no prejudice about myself? My father's a white and my mother black. No, them call me half caste or whatever. Well, me don't dep on nobody's side. Me don't dep on the black man's side nor the white man's side. Me dep on God's side, the man who create me, who caused me to come from black and white. We try to make really bring peace, knowing that we really can't solve a problem with a war, you know. It doesn't really solve a problem. We don't feel like really killing someone. Whose problem am I going to solve when I kill someone? You know what I mean? So I figure the peace is the best thing. And that's why I go ahead and work with it, because it was a spiritual thing what happened. Why one race want to be rich and the other one be poor? Why one want to fight on the other? It's no more of that. The youth of today say, no, that can't work no more.
I have no fear whatsoever of anybody or anything.
No man can oppose the message of Almighty God verbally or physically and get away with it. Anybody else who attacks or talks about attacking will die.
I don't want to rule or conquer anyone. I should like to help everyone if possible. Jew, Gentile, black man, white. We all want to help one another. Human beings are like that. We want to live by each other's happiness, not by each other's misery. We don't want to hate and despise one another. In this world there's room for everyone, and the good earth is rich and can provide for everyone. The way of life can be free and beautiful, but we have lost the way. Greed has poisoned men's souls, has barricaded the world with hate, has goose-stepped us into misery and bloodshed. We have developed speed, but we have shut ourselves in. Machinery that gives abundance has left us in want. Our knowledge has made us cynical, our cleverness hard and unkind. We think too much and feel too little. More than machinery, we need humanity. More than cleverness, we need kindness and gentleness. Without these qualities, life will be violent, and all will be lost. The aeroplane and the radio have brought us closer together. The very nature of these inventions cries out for the goodness in men, cries out for universal brotherhood, for the unity of us all. Even now, my voice is reaching millions throughout the world, millions of despairing men, women, and little children, victims of a system that makes men torture and imprison innocent people. To those who can hear me, I say, do not despair. The misery that is now upon us is but the passing of greed, the bitterness of men who fear the way of human progress. The hate of men will pass, and dictators die, and the power they took from the people will return to the people. And so long as men die, liberty will never perish. Soldiers, don't give yourselves to brutes, men who despise you, enslave you, who regiment your lives, tell you what to do, what to think, and what to feel, who drill you, diet you, treat you like cattle, use you as cannon fodder. Don't give yourselves to these unnatural men, machine men with machine minds and machine hearts. You are not machines, you are not cattle, you are men. You have the love of humanity in your hearts. You don't hate, only the unloved hate, the unloved and the unnatural. Soldiers, don't fight for slavery, fight for liberty. In the 17th chapter of St. Luke it is written, the kingdom of God is within man, not one man nor a group of men, but in all men, in you. You, the people, have the power to create machines, the power to create happiness. You, the people, have the power to make this life free and beautiful, to make this life a wonderful adventure. Then in the name of democracy, let us use that power. Let us all unite. Let us fight for a new world, a decent world, that will give men a chance to work, that will give youth a future and old age a security. By the promise of these things, brutes have risen to power, but they lie. They do not fulfill that promise. They never will. Dictators free themselves, but they enslave the people. Now let us fight to fulfill that promise. Let us fight to free the world, to do away with national barriers, to do away with greed, with hate and intolerance. Let us fight for a world of reason, a world where science and progress will lead to all men's happiness. Soldiers, in the name of love, let us all unite!
Freedom. Freedom.
Get up, stand up, stand up for your right. Get up, stand up, don't give all your right. Come on, get up, stand up for your right. Get up, stand up, don't give up the fight. I say, preacher man, don't tell me heaven is under the earth, yeah. You know, I don't know what life is really worth. It's not all that glitter is gold. And half that story I'd never been told. Now you see the light. Stand up for your right. Hey, get up, stand up. Stand up for your right. the fight. Get up, stand up for your right. Get up, stand up, and don't give up the fight. Stand up for your right. Get up, stand up. Stand up for your right. Get up, stand up. Stand up for your right. Get up, stand up. Stand up for your right. I say, preacher man, don't tell me heaven is under the earth. I know you don't know what life is really worth. It's not all that glitter is gold. Half the story had never been told. Now you see the light. Stand up for your right. Get up, stand up. Stand up for your right. Get up, stand up. And don't give up the fight. Get up, stand up. Stand up for your right. Get up, stand up. And don't give up the fight. You see, most people think great God will come from the sky, take away everything and make everybody feel high. But if you know what life is worth, you would look for yours unhurt. Now you see the light. Stand up for your right. Get up, stand up. Stand up for your right. Get up, stand up. And don't give up the fight. Get up, stand up. Life is your right. Stand up for your right. You can't give up the fight. Get up, stand up. In the morning, don't give up the fight. No, no, no. You're sick and tired of your bullshit game. Now you go to heaven in the Jesus' name. We know and we understand. My God is the living man. Fool some people sometimes, but you can't fool all the people all the time. Now you see the light. You better stand up for your right. Yeah. Get up, stand up. Stand up for your right. Get up, stand up. And don't give up the fight. Get up, stand up in the morning. Stand up for your right. In the night, stand up for you. Don't give up the fight. See, we're sick and tired of the bullshit game. Tired of going to heaven in a Jesus' name, yeah. You know and understand. Almighty God is the living man. Fool some people sometimes, but you put a fool all the people. So now we see the light. We're gonna stand up for all right. Hey, get up, stand up, get up, get up, stand up, stand up for your right. Get up, stand up, get up, get up, stand up, and don't give up the fight. Get up, stand up.
And in your heart, you know I'm right.